Hi guys, I'm Sai from Heads Above the Waves, and we're here in Undertone in Cardiff tonight with Mark Andrews, who is recent acquisition of TNA Wrestling in America.
Yep.
That's right. I suppose the first question that is obvious to ask is, why on earth did you want to become a professional wrestler?
Well, I mean, just like every kid, like you get into like Power Rangers and pro wrestling and just wacky stuff. So when I was about 8 years old, I started watching pro wrestling because my cousin introduced me to it. And yeah, I just fell in love with it instantly, you know what I mean? Just every Christmas, wrestling toys, every year, you know what I mean? I paid all my attention to it. And then I was fortunate enough, just before I turned 13, you know, after watching wrestling for like 5 years, to find a local training school, literally down the road from me. And from then on, yeah, just every month it started, and then went, you know, every other week, and then weekly, and then I started traveling up to Kent, you know, nagging my dad to drive me up there when I was 14, to training around the UK, and yeah, it's been a big part of my life ever since.
So what sort of impact has training played on your day-to-day life, as well as kind of how much of an impact has it had to be like keeping physically fit? Do you know what I mean? How much has that changed your outlook on life?
I've seen so many rewards outside of wrestling because of it, just, you know, how much it helps me mentally, and just, it gives you kind of, I don't know, it's weird to explain, it's kind of like a weird escapism in a way, you know what I mean? Like exercise has really helped me mentally.
So how has it helped you mentally then? Because like, I know that a few people have said to us that like going for a run helps to clear their head or something like that, you know, and kind of a change of scenery or something like that. What is it about going to the gym that really kind of helps sort you out mentally as well?
The difference in me before I go to the gym and after I go to the gym is insane. Like, the endorphins hit you, you know, and it's mad, because I think getting past that first step and that first choice of really fighting out of a bad place and going to the gym or going for a run or whatever it is, getting some sort of exercise, that's the hardest step to take. And then after that, it becomes easier, and you realise the benefits of exercise and how much it affects you mentally as well.
So how do you push yourself over the edge? Because like the thing that I've always struggled with, I go, I'm going to go for a run this year, I'm going to make that a thing, but then inevitably I wake up and it's raining, and the last thing I want to do is leave the house, you know what I mean? And it's not necessarily even to do with my mental state of mind, it's just because I'm like, I can't really be bothered. So what is it that, you know, but on a more serious level, when you are feeling like that low, how do you like
make the first step?
Yeah, how do you take that first step?
You're most likely to make progression when you're like at your lowest point, you know what I mean? So when your back's really about to get like close to the wall, that's when you're gonna feel really low. But as soon as it hits the wall, you just bounce off it, you know, and you shoot forward because you've got nothing else to lose. Sometimes using that energy to go for a run or to go to the gym or just to do anything, you realise the benefits of it, you know? And it's the same with diet as well, because as I said, when you're feeling low and you're on a downer, the last thing you want to do is make yourself a healthy meal. You know, you want to eat crap. But like, little things, only in the last year of my life have I realised the benefits of like vegetables, and that sounds so lame, but like vegetables makes you feel great, man, and stuff like vitamin D. Like as I said, every winter I'm feeling low because I'm lacking sunlight, whereas vitamin D, getting food with vitamin D, and like has helped me so much. You know what I mean? Just drinking more water, things like that, and you know I've only recently got into a good routine of drinking as much water as possible, trying to get a certain amount of vegetables and fruit in my diet, and exercising, you know, the amount I should be exercising, and it's just, you wake up feeling better, you know what I mean? It's strange, it just works for some reason.
So is there ever a point, because I know that one thing that I'm really like, I struggle with is when I'm doing something I love, and then when I'm doing it too much, it then becomes a chore to do it, you know? So does it ever lose that romance because it's your career now?
I mean, I'm a firm believer that like, you need to treat yourself mentally as much as you do physically. So for the one day where you really don't feel like going to the gym, you know, go on a night out, go see your friends, go eat junk food. Like, you need the mental stimulation as well. There needs to be a balance between mental stimulation and just like, you know, protecting your body as well.
If you are gonna not use the gym as a way of like dealing with a bad day, what do you do otherwise that sort of cheers you up?
Well, I'm lucky that I have a lot of creative outlets as well. Like, obviously we've got the band Junior, and I mean, that's helped loads in the past, you know, well, for all the last year, being able to just, again, lose yourself in something else, because it doesn't always have to be necessarily physical. It can be art, it can be just, I think creative like hobbies are great ways to lose yourself into, and it's escapism, you know what I mean? And in more ways than people would think, pro wrestling is a very creative art. You can get lost in a lot of things, you know what I mean? Whether it be art, music, pro wrestling. I mean, if I can lose myself so much in pro wrestling, then I'm pretty sure people can find it in whatever, you know what I mean? So I just think people need to invest in something to see reward, you know?
How did you deal with people not believing in you?
I guess over the years, I had tons of people telling me I couldn't be a wrestler. I was too small, you know what I mean? Or like, why would some skinny little blonde boy from Wales become, you know, an international pro wrestler? Like, how would that ever work? I had tons of negative experiences. People always putting us down for the way we'd handle business in wrestling, or for just our image and the things we do in the ring and stuff like that. But it almost motivates you to prove them wrong, you know?
Is there a message that you would say, like, so if someone was watching this video, is there something that you would want someone to take away from this? Some sort of positive message for someone who's really struggling with perhaps self-harm, perhaps just depression? What message would you give to someone like that?
If you can find something that you love doing, then put all of your efforts into it and you'll see the reward instantly. Going to my first wrestling training session was way harder than going to the last one. Do you know what I mean? Having my first match was the hardest one compared to Wembley the other day, you know what I mean? That was a lot easier than my first wrestling match. So if you can get past the first step in anything, especially getting out of bed in the morning, then you're on your way to something good.
Mark, thanks for joining us today, man.
Thanks for having me.
Really good chat. All the best for the future. Enjoy America.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm Mark Andrews, and wrestling keeps my head above the waves.